everybody. I was hoping there won't be so many of you here, to be honest with you, but there are. So here we go. Strap yourselves in. First of all, thank you to Jeremy and Dina for inviting us, letting us be involved, and just coming to Manchester generally, because we don't get that many things like this. I don't know if any of you were at the town hall in Margate as well, which was really great and really inspiring stuff. Hopefully this will be slightly better. Anyway, so we obviously need this, and that's what this is all about. And sort of being obvious is kind of the worst thing we can do. And I think this will all be about where we are and what we are as a collective of agencies and creative people. So type into Google "obvious quote" and here it is. There's nothing quite as invisible as obvious doing the sort of the thing that we expect. I always think this is really interesting. It's like most of the work we do, if we put a typo in the poster, it'd be way more famous, which is sort of a sad indictment to a lot of the briefs we all get on a day-to-day basis. What is obvious? Ideas beneath our station, if you ask me, and I don't think it's actually that hard to do something unexpected and original either, and I'll explain to you how. I did my own slides, hence I'm sorry about that white bar at the top. Fucking hell. What's this all about? So anyway, so if you've got something obvious and it is all going a bit rubbish, then it's kind of just a big red flag to get onto the next thing as fast as you possibly can. Nobody asked for all these amazing inventions behind me. The iPhone, Uber, Happy Mondays, did my own kerning as well, sorry about that. Hobnobs, Breaking Bad, nobody asked for those things. And there's this amazing quote, Rick Rubin, I think he's kind of godlike actually. It says just brilliant things all the time, which makes so much sense. But the best way to serve the audience is to ignore them. And I think that's something that can sort of really serve you well. I think we go a distance to listen to what sort of research group and sort of demonic or organisations like System One tell us. But largely, I think we should ignore them to make sort of truly great stuff. So originality is obviously what we're here to talk about. Originality is hard. It's going the extra mile. It's not stopping when most people would. The obvious stuff is easy and it's easy to buy. There's a reason why a lot of the work we do is kind of obvious and just not particularly interesting, frankly. But then sort of converse to that, I think if you do something obvious, being ignored is quite a hard thing for the sort of fragile egos in this room, which we all have. You might as well just agree with me there. But being noticed makes things easy, doesn't it? So if the point being, I think for Tim and I, our career has been kind of defined by sort of going the extra mile, I think. And, you know, one thing you do go the extra mile, you do good work, the next brief becomes easier, and then suddenly you're the sort of rock star team in the agency or creative, whatever it is. The other thing that like really bothers me about Manchester is that I don't think we're proud enough of it. I think it's a flex. It's not an excuse for we're not in London, and I'd just love to get away from that argument generally. I wanted to find a brilliant quote about Manchester, and I can't stand Stuart McConey, but he sort of says this sort of the coolest thing about Manchester has changed the world's politics from vegetarianism to feminism to trade unionism to communism. Every upstart notion that got ideas above its station. Every snotty street fighter of a radical philosophy was fostered brawling in Manchester streets, mills, pubs, churches. That's us guys, I think, in a nutshell. So we're outliers, and I think why I think that it's an absolute strength. So if you ever tell anyone you've got ADHD, they tell you about it's a superpower, whatever. But it's being in Manchester is so important. It actually is our X factor. It means we're not getting the same cultural references as everyone else. We're not getting the same experiences. And you know what? We work a little bit harder because I think that's how we thrive as creatives here. So for me, and I'm kind of imploring you here to stop apologising for being in Manchester. stop getting dragged into the sort of ongoing debate campaign. So we've actually taken a stance now where we refuse to answer any question where someone wants to talk about the merits of Manchester as a creative place, a creative industry, because I don't think there is a debate to be had, frankly. It's more a state of mind. So someone once said, if you start arguing with someone, you're kind of admitting that there might be a problem. So being outside the bubble, my point, is absolutely an advantage. And it's kind of, I think it's our civic duty. There's a generation, and the more experience and older you get in this industry, you realise that generation's coming through. And spoken to some people from Leeds here tonight, and it's our duty to sort of make this creative industry here thrive and be amazing in order for them to sort of pick up the baton when we're all made redundant one day. So what I want to do, and this is, I'm going to attempt to do this in 5 minutes, but a less obvious manifesto for the North. And kind of like audaciously want to say this can be our brand, there's something we can all get behind and sort of under the radar just act in this way, because I think it's within all of us. There's a delusional optimism to me saying this. I realise it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's really audacious. But yeah, it's really audacious because this is who we are and this is how we thrive. So here's a less obvious manifesto in 3.5 minutes. So number one is I think we should be here on purpose. We shouldn't apologise for being here, as I've already mentioned. And we should just embrace it. It's like if someone said, "Oh, what's it like?" If those conversations we get when someone asks you about the weather, it's like the most boring thing ever. It's not about the weather at all because we do amazing work. And so, kind of not half-arsing it here. We're kind of here to stay. Let's enjoy it. Let's make it amazing. We're in an absolute boom town as well. Just look at all the cranes going up. I don't need to sell Manchester to you guys. You know what it is. And then COVID was a sort of game changer. So meanwhile, I wouldn't be in Manchester if it wasn't for COVID. And I'm almost a little bit ashamed of that, but COVID was such a leveler in terms of people coming up, only having to be in the office 2 days a week. Nobody cares where you live anymore. And then, of course, it's a great differentiator, so sort of the less obvious. So those agencies, I'm not shy in saying that's who we want to be pitching against and we don't want to be up against. But those locations, that's absolutely a flex for us and a point of difference. Because we all say we're different. I think we're the only ones who, by our location actually are. So enjoy it. It's the real world up here. You're closer to your audiences. We get bigger flats generally, cheaper rents, counterculture and swagger. I was running out of things to say at this point, but you get what I'm saying. Number two is to be an insurgent. So if you think about the best creative companies in the world, they're all run by creatives themselves. So therefore, I think we kind of need to get really comfortable with the fact that we need to sort of take over and make sure creatives are at the top table of every business. The average companies don't even offer job security anymore. No offense, but I'm talking about the sort of network agencies. But they are kind of generally there's sort of a finance person controlling that, and I think as creative people, those agencies we all sort of revere are absolutely run by creatives. So I would implore you again to sort of be in the right place, or at least try and create it, try and force your way into the top table. And I think it's really worth dying on that hill, as Tim and I have a couple of times. Look at our job history, you can tell what agencies didn't quite work out. So number three is to sort of be aware of our legacy as a business. You think about things like Factory Records, which is like, it's such an inspiration for us as a company. But also think about sort of the work we're doing, the work that really gets noticed and talked about. Congratulations if you're involved in any of this, by the way. Tim and I are involved in that top one there. But there's bits of work in this that's coming out of this city and this region that are absolutely amazing, and some of my favourite pieces around. So be aware of your legacy, push the envelope, and that's kind of also imploring you to don't forget to have fun. Don't sort of settle for the averageness, because one day kind of half your career's gone and you haven't done anything of note. I'm stealing this a little bit off Niels when he spoke in London, but he was talking about sort of people being remembered for content solutions. So we're here today to remember the life of Chloe, who spent her best years creating content solutions. Spend your best years trying to do the best work you possibly can. You'll sleep a lot better. Number 4, our manifesto is to put your heart before your head. And that's to kind of make the work you want to make. So it's kind of be a bit more Rick Rubin, I suppose. Because, and it's all kind of saying, oh, that's all well and good saying that, but the reality isn't quite that. But if original fails, at least you get obvious. If you aim for your obvious, you're just going to get shite, really. Because it's always going to get amended. I don't think I've ever worked on anything that hasn't. Sorry. You won't win every time. You might only win now and again, but like I say, you'll definitely sleep better. Number 5, terrible slide, badly aligned, is to be fighty. And I think being fighty doesn't mean being a prick. Basically, it kind of means about just asking why. Just be the awkward apple. Just always question everything to the nth degree. And if someone can't give you a decent answer, then you're kind of winning, and we're sort of open to do better work. And sometimes you kind of need to take the wheel. And I think sometimes if you're just asking why you're not really getting the answer, you're kind of taking over, and then suddenly that's a creatively led project. Tim's the expert at that, by the way. And then the final star is creative with the fewest options. So it's kind of being really single-minded in our thought. And that's how we create a better stream of work that's going to come out of Manchester collectively. Because ironically, for us as a business, it's amazing when the whole of Manchester is succeeding as well. Number 6, badly aligned slide, but surprise. And another one, Jesus Christ, I do this really fast this afternoon, sorry, is just remember that if we change perceptions, therefore we change behaviour. So in order to change perceptions, it's all about doing something unexpected and something that your client isn't expecting to see. If the client's not interested in that, then some people just aren't, they're never going to buy stuff, but just try. It's just good for your soul, trust me. Good God, I was on a streak here. 7, try harder with your slides, Jesus. So here's a bit of an embarrassing flex, but it was like such a pinnacle of our career, but winning that was because we went the extra mile, and went to obscene, ridiculous lengths at the expense of the license fee paying public, in order to make something really special and something a bit different, and to have an anecdote and a story. And, it was a wonderful experience. So number 8, don't fucking wait. I hate people who, don't hate people. I get really annoyed at people that are kind of, one day I might do this. Yeah, I'll leave eventually because eventually I want to do this. This life goes so quickly. I was 45 a few weeks ago. And it really does go fast, quick. It wasn't that long ago. I was 22 in an agency. No, don't follow trends. I think it's really sad when generally people are in this industry. You kind of get people presenting work that adds for other people. I think there's a time and a place. So something sort of like this, but not the same. I think sometimes, maybe in the past, when the halcyon days of the Roses Awards or whatever, you kind of get work that was a bit derivative of something bigger agencies have done. We shouldn't be doing that. I think we should be doing really original stuff and really shaking the world up, because the talent is here in abundance. And also another thing is kind of people making up briefs to win awards is a tale as old as time. Please just give it a point and actually try and get it to run somewhere. Number 10, be audacious. Ask the dumb questions, say the unsayable thing. Ask why, then ask again. Don't ask permission. The old adage of it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission is really true. Tim and I have got in so much trouble over the years for just doing things. Me more than Tim, frankly. But then it's like, that's the career fruition. That's when the magic happens. We got our first TV ad was rejected by ClearCost, so we wrote a letter, which nobody wanted us to do or knew we were doing. Then we got the decision overturned. And if you don't do that, then I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be stood here right now. Certain things, when you're audacious, really upset people. So we did a podcast when we first launched saying that we were an agency in Manchester, not a Manchester agency. And it really sort of rattled a couple of people, actually, which was like, it was kind of really pathetic in a way. But that's such an important point. Be a creative in Manchester, not a Manchester creative, because there's no such thing. 11, be a twat. this felt way funnier when I wrote it. And I thought, oh, they'll be roaring with laughter at this point. Big hero of mine, and I don't mind audaciously saying I'd love to be the sort of Tony Wilson of Manchester today. When he launched a record label as a TV presenter, and by his own admission, it wasn't popular. That's like such a ridiculous thing, but it's such an audacious thing. And then eventually we sort of revere the person and what they create. So don't be afraid to sort of take a risk. Great work is famed work, essentially. And there's a study by someone who escapes me where the most awarded work creatively is generally the most effective work, which is like, it's just, that's so compelling, isn't it? Here's one if anyone wants to take a photo of me next to a slide. Today's twats are tomorrow's heroes. Tim doesn't agree with this. He got all scientific about it earlier, but you get what I'm saying. Number 12, we're almost done. Be disloyal. Stop staying in places that are just a bit rubbish. There's too many sort of bang average businesses. Go and do your own thing. Go and do the next thing. Don't follow the party line. It doesn't mean necessarily resign. I'm calling for everyone to resign, but it doesn't. It's about life is about principles, not rules. And then sort of kind of to leave you on, really, you're sort of prettier than content solutions and obvious work. I think we're all better than that, and we're all sort of writing our own legacy right now. So I think just be aware of that would be my message to you. This again is another joke, just to make Sophia really nervous. But there you go. Thank you very much.